challenge to the legitimacy of the agency that issues rules like this. Marketplace's Nova Safo has more.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is waiting to find out whether the Supreme Court will uphold its funding structure or strike it down. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals struck it down, finding that the way the agency is funded through the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional. The Supreme Court is considering the case, although during oral arguments a majority of the justices appeared unwilling to uphold that ruling, which could threaten a number of agencies, even the Fed itself. A decision is expected by mid-June. While that's pending, a federal judge in Texas overseeing a challenge to the CFPB's new credit card late fee rules, capping most at $8, said he was bound by the Fifth Circuit's earlier ruling. And so, Judge Mark Pittman, a Trump appointee, said if the CFPB's funding structure is unconstitutional, then its rules are likely unconstitutional as well. Pittman made the ruling after having initially sent the case to Washington, but the Fifth Circuit reversed that move, saying the judge must rule on the merits of the case brought by banks and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
Buy now, pay later in installments. Companies like Klarna and Afterpay are big in instant loans. Press a button at checkout. A report from Adobe Analytics predicts usage will grow by 13% this year to more than $80 billion. Yet, this kind of debt is almost invisible to credit bureaus, lenders, and economists. Marketplace's Savannah Marr has more.
The buy now, pay later boom is concentrated among a certain type of consumer, says Sheridan Trent with the payment analytics firm TSG.
Among the younger generations, we've seen, increasing adoption each year. And it's just because they're becoming more familiar with it.
And it allows them to borrow with no or less than stellar credit history. But these platforms aren't reporting most loans and delinquencies to credit agencies.
Many participants in the ecosystem may not have a full picture.
Delicia Reynolds-Hand is with Consumer Reports. When shoppers lean on buy now, pay later instead of a credit card, she says that obscures negative and positive borrowing behavior on their credit report. And for economists and policymakers,
kind of leads to an underestimation of the true debt burdens shouldered by households.
Unless regulators require more transparency, Reynolds-Hand says the youngest consumers' borrowing habits are kind of a mystery. I'm Savannah Marr for Marketplace.
Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all up about 0.2%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance. Customers can simplify their insurance needs and protect what's important by bundling home and auto. Learn more about bundling at progressive.com. And by Fidelity. A dedicated advisor can help create a wealth plan for a full financial picture. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
Following a big union win last month at a VW plant in Tennessee, the United Auto Workers now face a new test in the South. Starting today through Friday, 5,200 workers at a Mercedes-Benz assembly in Battery Complex near Tuscaloosa, Alabama, will vote on whether to join the UAW. Other unions are also trying to make inroads in states with what are called right-to-work laws and anti-union traditions. Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman reports.
I was changing planes in Atlanta on my way to cover the UAW in Alabama when I started hearing about unions trying to organize more workers in the South. From airport wheelchair attendant Kayron Jones, who was hanging out by my gate while I got my scruffy shoes shined.
The cleaning companies, all the restaurants, Popeyes, we're trying to make sure everybody gets unionized because everybody's not getting paid what they should be paid.
There are efforts to organize workers at Atlanta-based Delta and at Amazon in Bessemer, Alabama. But the point of the spear is the United Auto Workers' $40 million campaign to unionize foreign-owned assembly plants across the South, says Harry Katz at the Cornell School of Industrial and Labor Relations.
Lots at stake, whether they can use the momentum from the VW vote to win at Mercedes and then try and organize other transplants, but they're going to face strong resistance by management.
There's been plenty of that at Mercedes in Alabama, says Jeremy Kimbrell, a 24-year veteran auto worker and leader of the UAW's Vote Yes campaign.
Every day, every supervisor has a meeting with their work group and either shows a video or reads off a card and tells the workers why they don't need a union.
Which sounds like this.
During a strike, employees don't get paid by their employer. And in the state of Alabama, striking employees don't get unemployment.
Mercedes-Benz didn't comment for our story. Anti-union workers I spoke to say their top pay is comparable to UAW workers in the North, and they don't need representation. The message that unions aren't welcome and might drive top employers out resonates with the region's anti-union right-to-work politics, says Cornell's Harry Katz.
There's not a strong collectivist culture. Workers don't have experience with unions, family members that have been union members.
Jeremy Kimbrell, though, does. One reason he's been at the forefront of repeated union drives at Mercedes.
It boils down to being raised by a dad who's in unions. I know what the benefit of a union is, and if you're not sitting down at the table and then agreeing to a binding contract, very doubtful you're getting your best deal.
The better deal Kimbrell wants is the lucrative pay and benefits auto workers just won at GM, Ford, and Stellantis after strikes and hardball negotiations led by a reinvigorated UAW. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
And the solar flares contributing to the northern lights, delighting people with clear skies the last few nights, can also disrupt communications. The tech publication 404 Media is reporting that a John Deere dealership told customers over the weekend that the solar storms are messing with some GPS systems that allow advanced farm equipment to maneuver with precision in the fields. Corn planting has reportedly been halted in some parts of the country. Corn futures are slightly down this morning, so markets as yet do not foresee a systemic effect. In New York, I'm David Brancaccio. It's the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.